the DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, it's the Midday Market Report with Jeff Dawson.
ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app. Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your midday market report for Monday, April 29th, 2024. 2 days left. Wednesday, May 1st, we turn the calendar. Spring is officially sprung. A couple weeks later, it will be Memorial Day. But this Saturday, the Run for the Roses, the Kentucky Derby, the 150th. Set your calendars Thursday, 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Sean Alvarez, Mr. Smooth himself at Wager Talk, will be here to break down the 150th running of the Roses. Tonight, I bring in the one and only Mr. Scotty Webb, live from Tampa. We're going to talk some baseball. It's beautiful outside here on Cape Cod. I hope everyone where you are, it is nice. As well as it's nice to see the sun, seeing that we've gotten about 20 inches of rain so far in 2024. I can't wait. My grass better look like Augusta. That's Georgia, not Maine this year. So first and foremost, a shout out to our proud partnership and sponsor, WagerWire. If you have not downloaded this app, head on over to Google Play. It's free. Download it, get yourself acclimated with it, scroll to the bottom, download those sports books that are available in your state. I think we have 37 to 38 states now up and running. Take advantage of the match play, the promos, and all that good stuff there. But the real key to success is to stay here. Follow us, follow WagerWire. So we're going to start to work with that app. And when they start to get into the sports books and casinos, show how we can take a future bet, a live bet, and turn it into profit before it matures, even if it loses. Yeah, it's kind of a crazy idea. You do it every day at the stock market. Why can't you do it at the sports books? So if you want to join the WagerWire team, send an email to affiliate@wagerwire.com. Tell them JD from ECSI sent you. Zach, Travis, the rest of those guys. The team, the group, the community, second to none's growing by the day. So jump on board. You want to be a part before we leave the station, because this time next year, you're going to be scratching your head saying, holy shit, I should have listened to Jeff. That's what my kids say, right? So without further ado, let's bring him in, the one and only Mr. Scotty Webb. Afternoon, sir.
You know, there's a reason why we have old gray hair and gray beards and all that stuff. And they say, hey, they should have listened to us years and years ago. And then we sit there and go, well, whatever. It is what it is. It's the way people are.
What do we know, right? It's today's youth. They have all the right answers. We know nothing. That is why we have no hair and we're gray-haired. I tell my story, and it's simple, Scott, is I want my mistakes to be my story, and I don't want you to make those mistakes. That's why I made them. So just listen once in a while so you don't have to follow that path. When you get to the fork in the road, you know to bear right where Jeff Beard left, and it wasn't the right move.
Yeah, I was thinking about writing an article, and one of the things that came up, and you were talking about with WagerWire there, and you were doing stuff about even bets that lose. And I was just thinking to myself, and I thought about it a lot last night. On your social screens, on these different methodologies that people get their picks from, and or maybe they're even making their own picks. I think that the number one thing that they don't do, Jeff, and this is an important thing, and is that they don't focus on not making losing bets. It's that simple. They want to make bets that win. I get it. So does everybody and their brother. And you can sit there and make all these great bets. And then the sun gets in the eyeballs of this guy and he drops a fly ball in the outfield and you lose. So you can't always just make winning bets, but you can not make losing bets. You can. Don't make losing bets. Because the reality of this is that people sit there and go, well, I did feel good about this. I'm going to go out there and throw, here's $50 on that game, or here's $75 on this game. Do you know what it takes to get that back? If you're managing your bankroll and you lose that $50, then you lose that $75, then you hit a good game and you win $100, you're still behind. And then you win another game and you're still behind. That's because you're throwing bets away. And if I can teach anybody anything about this game, there's two different sides to everything. You can handicap all you want to, but you have to become a good bettor. And when you're out there just throwing money to the wind and you lose those bets, you can never catch up. You can catch up to the degree in which maybe you win 50% of your games. But you want to win more than that because you want to make money at this. So don't make a losing bet. Don't. If you don't have conviction when you walk up to that damn window to make that bet, then keep your money in your pocket. Otherwise, don't bet at all.
Shout out and a good happy Monday to the one and only Mr. Russell Saylor. He says, holy shit, it's Tom Hanks. And then he follows up AJD, great advice from Scott. And anyone in the Vegas area, anyone in a state where there is a casino and a sports book, drive by there today, wave to it, drive by there next month and the month after, drive by there a year from today. They're still going to be open. Why? Exactly what Scotty just said. And I think social media today has so much on that. Russell says I'd have so much money if I didn't make the losing bets. No, it's 100% correct. I use this little thing, the action junkie, the degenerate, and it doesn't sound like much. What's $20 today? What's $20 tomorrow? What's $20 on Wednesday? My point is, the 5, 10, 15-legged parlays, it's scratching an itch. At the end of the week, Scott, it's called entertainment. Well, 7 times 20 is $140 a week. You times that times 4, that's $560 a month. You times that times 12, and you got yourself almost 7 dimes for the year. And now you times that times 100 or 1,000. That's what everyone's doing. That's why those books are open, because they're paying their kids' college, their vacation home, the vacation home, the 3 cars. And Russell says, I'm real itchy. Get some calamine lotion, Russell. Football will be here before you know it. But again, that's the educational purpose. That's what we try to strive here on a day-to-day basis, is to educate. Scotty's always talking about going to the window with conviction. I mean, there's 3 NBA games tonight. There's a couple hockey games. There's a full slate of baseball almost. If there's nothing that hits the slate, I'm sorry, there's nothing that hits the slate. For the ECSI VIPs, we had a 7-1 weekend. Yeah, it was nice to be on the heater. We had Denny Hamlin plus 650 on the Worth 400 at Dover. Yeah, it's great. It's great. Well, today's a new day. It's a new week. Enjoy Envelope Monday. Everyone only remembers today's bets. Yesterday's bets don't matter to a lot of people. It's what have you done for me lately, Scotty?
That's what it is. But, you and I were talking behind stage, there's a lot of people doing this stuff. There's a lot of people out here making waves and, trying to be catchy and trying to copy people and do different things on these networks. But you know what they don't do, and you and I have been doing this. I don't know. We've been together 5 years, 6 years. I don't remember how long it's been. Maybe even longer than that. Anyway, we actually try to help people, and I think we're pretty real. My faces have gotten older. I've lost 35 pounds here recently, so I might look a little different. But the reality of things is that you try to do what's right. You try to do what's right for people. And I'm just shocked and amazed. And I'm Jeff, you're going to be mad at me, but I'm going to say it the way it is. There's this guy out here in the market. He lives in my town. And I'm going to say it because, what else can you say? There's this John Murgis guy, and John Murgis is out here getting all this stuff and says all these things. And, it's just unfathomable to me that people buy into the bullshit. And he is. I've met the guy. I went to drinks with the guy. I've seen him a couple times socially. All I can tell you is that if you're going to pick somebody to get your plays from, and you don't know them 100% personally, which you probably aren't going to know most of the guys that you might pick from. Like if you bought picks from me, you don't know me. But the reality is you can see my work. You can see the back work. Be careful. These kind of guys don't even get their own plays. Those plays he gives out come from other people. Maybe he does some of his own homework. Maybe he does some of his other things. I know what he does. I know I've been with him. So my point to you is this, is some people will pretend like they're here for you, and they pretend like they're a man of the people, and they show you all this bullshit stuff online that says, well, I play all these plays over here at this third-party place. I did that 3 or 4 years ago. No, it was longer than that. It was probably 5 or 6 years with Timmy. And I had one of those accounts. And Timmy would call him up and go, hey, you know what? We need this to look like this because we need to get some people to sign up this week. So they would go, oh, here's a run. Let's make a run. And they would put it in there. And then it counts as your record. You know why? Because the people that are paying, let's put it this way. When you put your picks in there and you're trying to say, hey, I'm doing all this stuff and I'm showing you my picks, there's two things. One, John Murgis isn't making those picks, guaranteed. I already know. I know who his bookies are. Number two, secondly, I also know that the reason that those people are willing to work with the guy that's the handicapper is because the handicapper's paying him. That's where they make their money. Those third-party people make their money off the people putting in their picks. That's what they do. So if they want to have a discrepancy, or if they want to do this, that, or the other, all that stuff changes. So what I'm going to say is just be careful what you do and vet your people. And, you guys want to vet on Twitter, and you guys want to go, this guy doesn't this, that, and you do all this Twitter stuff. So here's one. Go to your public records. In our case, go to Sarasota County Public Records. Pull up some people's names. There's people that that live in this town that are in the Las Vegas group of people. Pull them up. What you're going to find is you're going to find bankruptcies. You're going to find businesses that went out of business. You're going to find evictions. You're going to find all kinds of stuff that when you actually vet a person, that's how you do it. And when you do it right, you sit there and go, I can't believe it. I just can't believe it that people buy the bullshit that's out there. I just can't, because it is amazing selling shit. That's exactly what it is.
Well, social media is for that. Isn't the internet always right, as we like to say here? And there's a bazillion of them. We go way back to, the Vegas Daves of the world. Look what Trent's doing now. He hasn't had a winning day, never mind a week in forever, but again, doing very well for pick it, book it with whatever it is. So again, just be careful. You guys work hard for your money like everyone else here. We pull up our pants the same way everyone else does. As I put on my social media earlier today, we debuted January 1st, 2015. We're damn proud of it. Anyone here new to the show, just Google search East Coast Sports Investors. You'll find we're the number one ranked sports investment firm in the whole wide world. You'll see us on the first page, according to Google, first page. And we want to stay there. So, again, I'm not here to knock anyone down. Anyone can do whatever the bleep they want. I could be, 6'8" and 280 pounds if I didn't want to show my face, with, no hair. And I used to be 5'8" or 5'9". I think I'm shrinking. I'll be 58 in November. So you know what happens the older we get. So anyways, Wednesday, May 1st, we'll transgress right now. Full slate tonight, big board. There's some stuff that caught my eye. I mean, just from the eye test, I mean, Dodgers, Arizona, Paxton, Henry, I'm a team total guy. I mean, how did the Dodgers not to get to 6 or better there? Crochet's been not doing well of late. He's facing Joe Ryan tonight. I talked about Maeda backstage. There's a whole bunch of matchups there. The Angels don't do well when the Phillies are pitching. Shout out to Billy Hewlin. Happy Friday. Hug the bride for me. Long time no talk, Billy. You are missed back east here. But the board's yours. The stage is yours. I'm going to allow you to talk about tonight's board.
Well, I thought there's some amazing games out there. I mean, so when you start to think about some of the games that matter, you've got Baltimore that plays New York today, and New York woke up over the weekend in Milwaukee. So I look. Some of the things in handicapping techniques are pretty simple. One thing you got to remember is that everything runs in cycles. And, the New York Yankees, they got double-digit hits yesterday. They got double-digit hits the day before that. They outscored Milwaukee by 21 runs in 3 games. So does that continue tonight? Well, it all depends on the pitcher they're going to face, and they're going to face Grayson Rodriguez tonight, and they have not done well against him. They only faced him once, but he smashed him. And I think that there's a couple other things there. They have to continue that momentum and try to get double-digit hits again, and that'll be the 3rd time in a row. Not that the teams can't, but that's not an unlikely situation. And then they have Clark Schmidt on the mound. And it's not that he's a bad pitcher, but he's a guy that does get hit. He gives up hits. So I think this is a great spot to buy low on Milwaukee, or not Milwaukee, but Baltimore. I think Baltimore's a good spot here. I think the New York is going to be one of those sell high spots. And one of the lineup changes they made was they put Verdugo to bat 4th, and that made a difference because that changed their lineup around, and he drove in a couple runs the first night, and then he got a couple hits the next night. He's not there today. He's out on paternity leave, whatever it's called. So anyways, wife's having a baby, so he's not there tonight. So that changes their whole lineup, and Aaron Judge playing left field, for God's sakes. I don't know if he can play left field. Outfielders can play pretty much anywhere, but the way the ball comes off the bat and the way an outfielder sees it from right field and center field are way different than what they can see in left field. And left field is now a different kind of a spot in Baltimore. I mean, it's big. They moved the fences back there so that the pitchers would do a little better. So I don't know how all that's going to work out. And now they got Trent Grisham going to play center field, which he's probably a fine defender. He's not a real good hitter. So, look, you can look at the Yankee lineup all you want, and they can get 15 hits off Milwaukee, and they can get 15 hits off Milwaukee again. But it's because position players are out there pitching. But the reality of it is, I think they're going to struggle today. You've got Soto on that team, and you've got Aaron Judge on that team, and really, I'm just going to say it this way: they're not deep. That team is not deep. Where Baltimore can score from almost any position in the lineup, Texas can do those things. It's crazy. It's really crazy. So I think that there's a lot going on here that in that game makes sense to be on Baltimore. Do you feel the same way, or you're not, you don't like that one?
No, I'm laughing at Mr. Smooth. Scott Alvarez is a saint for dealing with Dawson so often. Also, happy Monday. I say, see, the dogs are even barking when they hear my voice. I said, you're up soon, Mr. Smooth. Hashtag giddy up. Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern and 10 a.m. Pacific. Make sure you catch the Kentucky Derby breakdown with none other than Sean Alvarez from Wager Talk, as he'll break down the 150th Run for the Roses there. Thank you, Sean, for showing up. No, I agree. I'm a huge Grayson fan. In some of your write-ups, you talked about the clusters, teams getting hot, teams that are slow. Like I was giving you poop about your Rays the other day that against Maeda, they couldn't get a base hit, standing on second, hitting off a tee. I mean, it was so disgusting. And that was the Cardinals till last week, where their bats all of a sudden have woken up. So the warmer weather, we're almost to May 1st. You're going to start to see some of these slow starting teams slowly getting back into form.
Well, Minnesota's a perfect example. I mean, that team couldn't do anything for like the first 3 weeks. I thought, oh my God, this team is getting to be a trouble. And now all of a sudden they've won 7 straight games. Of course, it starts off with playing the White Sox, and then they go out and they score all these runs. But now they're almost unstoppable. They've scored, I think they've scored 7 runs in 7 straight games or something like that. It's a crazy number like that. But anyway, that's baseball. Baseball runs in streaks, and when you get them going, that's when you ride them. And when they're off, you jump off. You bet against them. So speaking of St. Louis, and they play Detroit today, and I wasn't sure, but my numbers on this game is almost exactly 50-50, like probability wise. This is Kenta Maeda at home against St. Louis, and Steven Matz. Both pitchers are dog snot. So you sit there and you go, well, how do you bet this game? Well, it's then you go, okay, well, what about the bullpens? Well, the bullpens are halfway decent, right? And then you go, well, the offenses are they're kind of average, but Detroit's offense has really been a little more surprising to me than I thought they would be. I mean, they're not the Miami Marlins out there trying to scrape across the run. They can score. So I think that what you run into here is Maeda pitched good the last time. So what does that mean? He's probably going to do bad this time. And Matz hasn't pitched good for 3 straight days. So I think you run into the problem of Matz is probably going to pitch pretty good. I think Detroit will struggle to score runs. And I think Maeda is going to be a guy that probably doesn't do well. And I think St. Louis can capitalize. So I think this is a good spot for St. Louis. I think St. Louis played the Mets pretty well, and Detroit's off of a good, a series where they just came off of the Royals. So they needed to win that series, and I think that this is one of those kind of, I don't want to call it a lack of preparation kind of game, but this is one of those, they don't have momentum here because it's the Cardinals. If they were getting ready to go play the Twins, that was somebody in their division, then they might get up for this game. But I think this is a bad spot for them. And I think that Detroit's in trouble here.
I just want to ask you, I want to go back to the Orioles for one quick second. I forgot to bring it up. Kimbrel gives up the 2-run homer in the 9th. Thoughts on who's closing there? Have we seen the last? I know it isn't May 1st yet. No, on Wednesday it is, but I didn't approve of the move. I actually thought, and he's from the Baltimore area, that they might have spent some money and brought Hader in there. Versus a Kimbrel. I mean, we've seen the American League East has seen Kimbrel for years now. Now he's back there, not the same self. The human rain delay. Thoughts on Kimbrel and what Orioles might be doing moving forward back there?
Well, I'm not sure what they're going to do moving forward. I know that they've got a bunch of kids in the minor leagues, but they're mostly batters. They can bring up a batter anytime they want. Any of those kids. They got one that Herstead. He's been up there for I think 5 or 6 days. Only played once. So I think I think that what the deal is with Kimbrel is they're saying he has low back trouble. They're gonna kind of give him a day or two to kind of see if he can come back from that. If not, then they'll put him on the IL. But it's not a it's not a spot where I don't think up to those last two times he's been out there, he's been decent. I don't think he was that good of a closer anyway. But you might not like this or agree with what I'm saying. I don't think Kenley Jansen's that good of a closer anymore either. So when you sit there and you start to look at what these guys have left in the tank and whatever, it's time for somebody else maybe to get a shot. And they've got Kannon back there that can go out there and throw. He throws a cutter, and that's really all he throws. He's like a Mariano Rivera, he's not that like that, but he throws that pitch. Put it that way. And he throws it hard, and he can pitch and he can do those things. So I guess my thought would be is that, when you don't have two or three guys to do it, you're just going to have to try to figure it out. You're going to have to try to get a deep run out of your starting pitchers, and then piecemeal it together because, it would be a bad situation for this team to be as good as they are offensively. They're getting ready to get a bunch of starting pitchers back. Kyle Bradish is coming back, and John Means will be back this week. So you won't see Albert Suarez anymore and those kind of guys pitching for the Orioles. So I think, and people don't really, when you say Kyle Bradish, they go, well, I don't care. Kyle Bradish, nobody. He's a somebody. Trust me. He's good. So when he comes back, that's a big lift for that team. And John Means was a somebody. Now I don't know if he's still a somebody or not. He's had trouble now for 2 years, so we'll see what he looks like when he comes back. But it would be a shame if this team, with all the talent players that they have and all the talent players that they can bring up, struggles with the pitching, because that would be awful. I mean, that would just be. But I think they have plenty of money. And I think they could go get whatever they needed. And they certainly have the pieces they could trade for to go get whatever they wanted. If they needed a starting pitcher, they could do that. And if they needed a closer, they could go do that. But I think, Major League Baseball today isn't like it was 15 years ago where every single team had to have a great closer. They don't do that anymore. Sometimes it's closer by committee. Sometimes it's, just get me a guy that can throw 100 miles an hour. Or, holy crap, nobody thought the Oakland A's bullpen was going to be any good at all, and they got the best bullpen of everybody. So, they sit out, they ring out two or three guys that throw 100 miles an hour back to back to back to back, and you can't hit them. And then you sit there and go, okay, well, don't be behind when you play the Oakland A's because they're going to beat you.
What else you see on the board?
Where was my other ones that I liked today? You know what? I really like the New York Mets today, and I kicked myself in the shins because they're doing all my stuff. The line was minus 125. I'm like, okay, I got to go walk the dogs. So I go take the dogs for a walk, come back in, and of course, one of my dogs is, dilly-dallying around out there. So it's probably 40 minutes later, I come back in, and holy crap, the line's 150, 155. And I'm like, what? I missed my chance. So I like the Mets today, but I don't like them at that price. And I think that's part of baseball, right? You got to know your prices and bet the values. And at 125, I thought it was great because my number was 139. So I'm like, this is awesome. But at 155, well, there's no value in that number at all anymore. So I'm not betting it. I did look at the team total in that because that was like 3.5. Mets over 3.5. But I thought it got a little bit too expensive. So I just passed on that particular opportunity. But speaking of the Rays, I'm on the Rays today because I think that yes, it's kind of a difficult thing, and you sit there and you go, "Holy shit, Scott, what is the matter with you?" They just got swept by the Chicago. The Chicago White Sox doubled the yearly amount of wins that they played in 3 days. They doubled them, so they went from 3 to 6. And those 3 wins were against these Rays that I just bet on. So I bet on the Rays for a couple of reasons. One, of anything they can do, they've struggled with starting pitching. But Ryan Pepio has not been a struggle. He's been pretty good. He's got really good stuff. He's just inexperienced. He doesn't have a lot of innings. And I think he's got a spot where he's going to be pretty good because the Brewers, just for whatever reason, the hot and cold teams, they're down to 24th offensively in the league. So they're not scoring runs, they're not hitting runs, and they have Bryce Wilson on the mound, and Bryce Wilson's he's a long relief guy that's starting the game because they're running out of guys. So this will be his third start in that spot, but his eighth appearance. So I think that they're just going to try to piecemeal the game together. They're reeling off of the Yankee series, so I think they got a lot of problems to kind of deal with. Their bullpen's messed up from all those guys they had to pitch. So I think if the Rays can, and the Rays batting, they still rank eighth. So they haven't scored a lot of runs, so the productivity hasn't been there, but they're getting guys on base. And when you're trying to figure out who's going to win a game, it starts with how many guys get on base and can the pitcher stop it. So I like the opportunity here that's presented to the Rays. I think the price is good. The Rays are like pick them or plus 110, something like that. And I have them as a small favorite. So I think they're getting good value with the Rays today. Those were my three picks anyway. I mean, I didn't bet the Mets because they were out of the way. I did bet the Orioles and I did bet the Rays today. I didn't think I looked at. I didn't really look at anything else. I thought the Phillies game is a good bet. I just thought the price is kind of up there. I think you got to be careful with some of these things. I think Atlanta's in a bad spot today. Fried is off of a game where he threw a 9-inning 3-hit shutout or 2-hit shutout. His game score was 98 or 95 or some crazy number like that. They just came off a pretty hard-fought series against the Guardians. Now have to fly all the way across the country to the Pacific Northwest and play Seattle. So I think that's kind of a bad spot for Atlanta, even though I think Atlanta's obviously a better team. That Dodger game you had mentioned, I think is a weird game because I don't know how long Paxton's going to be able to stay in the rotation for the Dodgers. Buehler's made 4 starts and rehab starts. He's coming up soon, so you're going to see Walker Buehler back in Dodger blue. So does he take that spot, or is he taking Michael Grove's spot, who pitched the other day against the Blue Jays? So I think there's some of this stuff's going to start getting ironed out with some of these guys coming back. You saw Framber Valdez come back yesterday for the Astros. Astros got 2 big needed wins. Of course, they played the Rockies, but it doesn't matter. They still needed wins. So we'll see how that carries over for them as they go forward, because I think they play like the Guardians or somebody coming up. So they need to win those games. So as the season's kind of progressing, some of these teams are starting to need wins, and I think Houston's one of them. I think Texas showed that they're a pretty good team, especially when they don't have any starting pitching right now. So, but that's coming for them too. They'll get their starting pitching back. Max Scherzer started his rehab assignment. I don't know what kind of Max Scherzer you're going to get, but it's got to be better than some of the guys that are throwing out there now. So we'll see how that kind of turns out for those teams. But yeah, I'm real interested still to see what happens in the. I'm unbelievable saying this. The National League Central is so competitive right now, and the American League Central is so competitive right now. I mean, they're all bad teams, but they're still all competitive as hell. What's going on with the Cubs? The Cubs, they're a team right now that they miss Bellinger and Suzuki in that lineup. You put those 2 guys back in that lineup, changes them all together. That's a team that can play. Take them out of that lineup, and I think they're an also ran kind of like everybody else, unless Imanga's pitching or whatever. That's kind of the way the Cubs are. The Brewers have every bit of a chance to get there, but so does everybody else in that division right now. The Cardinals, the Pirates, and the Reds. They're all going to be right there until somebody can kind of break away. But I think the Cubs are the best team in that division, and on the other side, I think the Twins are the best team by far. They just got off to a bad start, but I think they're going to start rolling teams. And again, their luck of the situation is they've won 7 straight games, and now they get to play the White Sox again. So there you go. But we're going to add to that. So they might be in first place come the next 3 or 4 days.
Definitely a great slate. Our goal, very simply, Scotty, is to bring you on later this week where we'll catch another full slate. The back end is loaded pretty good here, so we're going to catch some times to bring you on here. I did want to say one thing. Tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific, Ron Marmalevsky. Russell, you heard me. Ron's coming on at 4 o'clock Eastern tomorrow at Ron A Sports for an NFL draft breakdown. Ron writes books on this stuff, and be interested to see how he graded not just the first round, how a lot of these teams did individually. There's a rumor out there that the Steelers could be getting a big name wide receiver via trade. My gut would tell me it's Deebo Samuel, but what do I know here? But anyways, closing thoughts, Mr. Webb.
Yeah, I think there's always this stuff out there, and I certainly didn't mean to pick on anybody specifically, even though it might have sounded like that. It's just it comes across where I get tired of the crap, and I can't believe people buy into the stuff that's out there. There's all kinds of it. But at the same time as that, nobody's infallible. Nobody's perfect. Everybody goes on runs. Everybody goes on bad runs. So just be careful. Try to get to a point where when you hear somebody say something, at least you can take that and put it in one of your building blocks of education towards making better bets. And hopefully, when you're doing those better bets, that builds and builds and builds. George, thanks. I appreciate it. I'm doing a lot to try to get healthy here lately. But just when you're doing those things, just make sure that everything's about that. It's about what you learn and build upon it and build upon it and build upon it. It doesn't have to come from one source. It can come from 75 sources. Use your sources, but write stuff down if you can't remember or forget where it came from or whatever. But just get to a point where all your things build upon each other, and then all of a sudden you've got a pretty good foundation to work from. And when you've got that foundation, I think you're going to be a lot better. Man, that's hard to say. A lot better wager maker. How about that? A lot better wager maker than you were before. And that's really one of the goals that I've always set forth when in doing these things is, my picks are going to come and go. They're going to be good one day. They're going to be bad one day. But if I can help somebody with how to think or how to help them with what to look at, that's really the goal.
Go to the window with conviction. I'm going to put that on your stone and then you can put whatever you want on my stone, hopefully 30 years plus from now. So busy day tomorrow, waiting for confirmation from Andrew McGinnis. I think I will be on his channel at McGinnis Picks at Wager Talk, talking some hockey and whatever else he decides. And then again at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific, Ron Marmalevsky from Ron A Sports talking the NFL draft recap. We'll see if the Steelers do get that wide receiver I was talking about. Currently, we will be dark in the morning, but we're still waiting. A busy week ahead. So for myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, the one and only Scotty Webb at Scotty at Webby20 MLB. We wish everyone a blessed day, a good evening. Hey, it's a new day. It's a new week. It's a fresh start, okay? Don't wake up on Tuesday and scratch your head and say, oh, geez, don't worry. I got 6 days to get it back. Don't be that guy, okay, guys? See you tomorrow.